Get him. Get the head.
Yep.
He's on, he's on, he's on.
Got one. Got one.
Go, Matt.
Yep. On.
Got him.
On.
Hit the button, hit the button.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's so epic.
Oh. There we go, guys.
Yoo-hoo!
Look at that.
Boy.
Yeah, Benny.
Look at that one, mate.
That gave it to you, mate. Well done. G'day, guys. Welcome back to another video. I'm Will Kitching, and today we're going to be going through my favourite technique to catch jewfish. You may see on my channel that I've been doing a fair bit of this recently and having a bit of success. So I'm going to go through the basics with you today to hopefully get you out there and hooking into some of these beautiful fish. We're going to talk about the baits, gear, rigs, some technique stuff, all of that, where you'll find jewfish. Throughout the video as well, I'm going to be showing you some actual footage catching jewfish to explain what I'm talking about. And yeah, you'll get some action throughout the video as well, seeing us catch some jewfish. So hopefully this video is helpful for you. If it is, make sure that you subscribe. I have plenty of videos like this and heaps of fishing action as well for you. And share it with a mate if you think it could help them. And also feel free to leave a comment and you know, ask questions or give your own Mulloway tips for people. And yeah, like the video as well. Obviously, everyone does it differently. I'm still learning. I'm not an absolute expert, but I've been doing okay, so I thought I'd share some tips with you. Yeah, this is just how I do it. Other people have their own techniques. So first of all, let's just talk about the most simple part, and that is your bait. Now, liveys are definitely best, and it's good to match the hatch of where you're fishing. So, for example, if you're fishing along break walls or out on the reef like I do a lot, yakkers and slimy mackerel are going to be, you know, great baits. Pike, even big mullet, legal tailor, things like that. Whereas if you're fishing up a river somewhere, you know, it might be more your mullet, prawns, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, what I mainly use are yakkers, slimies, pike, things like that. That's what we want, boys.
Yeah. Big one.
Oh, one fell off.
Oh, I'll get that too.
Yeah. Now, dead baits can still work, but if I had the choice, I would take live baits any day of the week if I was chasing jewfish. They feed through vibrations in the water a lot, so they have a really sensitive lateral line compared to other species. So any fish flicking around, they're going to feel it and sense it, and that's how they like to feed. So having a live bait flicking around down there just attracts attention. If you are using dead baits, it's just important to rig them nice and straight so that they don't spin underwater. So I've caught them on dead yakkers and slimies.
Get the net out.
Because they've got a dew, oh my god. We do. Oh, on a deadie.
Get the net ready, mate.
He's going.
Do you want a net, Dad? Do you want a net? No, you get him head first. You got to get him head first.
Oh, he's going now.
Yeah, he's a good fish.
All right.
Mate. Head first. Scoop and get him in.
Yep, scoop now. That's the way.
Well done, boys.
That's another nice one. That one was actually, funnily enough, on a dead bait, on a dead slimy. I just rigged it up really straight. I put the hook through the chin and the nose to keep its mouth shut so it didn't spin. And it absolutely slammed it, no worries. But you can also use strip baits as well, I've heard. I haven't caught them on strip baits before, but I know a lot of guys do, where you just take like a fillet of a slimy mackerel and put that on, or a legal tailor or something like that. All right, moving on, let's get straight into the gear that you're gonna need. All right, so it's going to depend where you fish and what sort of structure you're fishing, but for where I fish, it's around large, bouldery, rocky reef, you know, and bommies out on the reef, places like that. So I have 30-pound braid and 30-pound leader is what I've been using, but honestly, you could easily use 40-pound braid and at least 40-pound leader. And out on the reef, when you get into those bigger jewies over a meter, you know, I reckon 30-pound is the bare minimum that you would use, and that'd be probably with a heavier leader like 60-pound.
Hang on now. Right?
Yep.
Okay, take your time.
Yep.
See you in there, man. That's a good fish.
Yeah. It's going out that way.
Yeah. Take your time.
Busted me off.
Frick!
But I reckon 40 or 50 pound line with 60 to 80 pound leader even is what you need out there on the reef. But I've caught them in the estuaries on as light as 20 pound gear as well. So, but yeah, this is what I've been using. 30 pound braid, 30 pound leader. You stop most of them and it's still, you know, not too heavy. You're not skull dragging them. It's still a really good battle. That's matched up with a Penn spin reel. You can use overhead reels. You just got to make sure it's strong, tough as, because they are going to fight like hell to get back down in the structure. And you just need a smooth drag as well, because if they do peel drag, you don't want to be pulling hooks and stuff like that. So this has got a nice smooth drag and it is tough as, really strong, solid drag. Yep. On. On.
Hit button, hit button.
Woohoo!
Oh, you're getting done.
It's a good one.
You're getting done, Will.
It's a good one.
Oh, you're getting done.
It's another good one. Oh, no, stay up.
Oh, dude.
Oh, it's another good one. Stay up, stay up, stay up. Oh, no.
Back over it, Daddy.
Yeah.
Back over it.
Oh, it's a dew banger. It's been chucked. You're
He's
kidding me.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's a shark there.
Under him.
Now, the rod, this is literally, you know, not expensive at all. It's just a 10 to 15 kilos, so 20 to 30 pound, which is the line I'm using. Yeah, just with a nice soft tip so you can feel those bites. It's nice and sensitive, but then through the middle and back, it's nice and strong to, you know, put the hurt on those dewies. So pretty much, I'm fishing around a breakwall with those big bouldery rocks. I'm using 30 pound braid, 30 or 40 pound leader, and out on the reef, I'm using around 40 pound braid and at least 60 pound leader. You just have to make sure that your rod, reel and line are all matched. You don't want to be using, I don't know, 60 pound line with a rod that's only rated to 30 pounds, or a reel where the max drag pressure is only 20 pounds, for example. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about rigs, and we'll start off with the actual hook setup and then move on to the sinker placement. All right, so I like to use just your normal J hooks or octopus style hooks, and I snell them together with a fair bit of line in between, so your livey can swim around nice and freely and not feel any tension pulling it tight. Now, in terms of hook sizes, 5.0 for those fish, you know, up to 80, 90 centimeters, and then over that, you want to up it to 6.0 or definitely 7.0 for those bigger fish out on the reef. Now, some people even use a smaller hook like a 5.0 as the front hook to just pin that livey in the nose, and then a 7.0 or 6.0 as the back hook to pin them in the back. Now, this obviously also depends on the size of your liveys. You don't want to be using a massive 7.0 hook if you've got really small liveys. You know, if you've got big liveys, you can up the size of your hooks. The other thing is try to use nice thin hooks, thin gauge hooks, so your liveys don't die straight away and they survive longer when you put them down there. I found good hooks are Mustad Hoodlums. They seem pretty good. I've been using their 5.0s and 6.0s and catching them on them. Now, the rig is nothing secret, nothing fancy. It's just your snell with a running ball sinker straight on top. That's it. I know some people might put a glow bead or something between their hook and the sinker to stop it clacking down on there really hard, but honestly, that is all I've been using. That is all I've been using. Simple as that. Hook a livey on, drop it down, and they've been hitting it. So, yeah. Now, the other rig you can have is you can, tie a swivel onto the end of your leader and have a sinker running down on top of it. And then from your swivel, a trace down to your hooks. So, yeah, that one's probably better out on the reef where it's, just going to be sitting down there for a bit longer. Now, in terms of sinker size, I've been fishing in anywhere from 15 to 35 meters and using this, I think it's a size 6, but all tackle shops are different. So I weighed it for you guys and it's 62 grams. So yeah, if you can get a sinker around that, that's what I've been using. You don't want a sinker that's too light because the Jewfish are going to be on the bottom, close to that structure, holding tight to the bottom. So you want to just get your bait down there in the zone, no stuffing around. But you don't want a sinker that's too heavy either because you'll get more snags, and also it'll just look really unnatural if you've got a massive sinker sitting on their nose that's way too big. So yeah, 62 grams, that's what I've been using in current and everything. So yeah, when hooking on your livey, that front hook goes either sideways through their nostrils or up through their top lip. And the back hook, you can either pin it lightly in their flesh in their back and have it sit there, or you can just put it straight through the top of their back, just pin lightly as well. All right, moving on. Where will you actually find some jewfish? Now, first things first, they're very structure oriented, and this rig is perfect for targeting them around structure in deeper water. Jewfish are 100% a schooling fish, and a lot of the time they can be found in really big numbers together.
That's one. You are kidding. You are kidding. On a lure. That's a good fish, mate. Are you both? Is this doubles? No! I was on the lure. Oh, well done, Jack.
Oh, mate, saw you, wee boy. Put us in the mark. Told us might get a few dewies here, and it's been on.
Yeah, well done.
Thanks, mate, for putting us onto him.
That's awesome. It's good you got a legal one there to take for a feed as well. That's a cracker. So sad about the double hookup, but hopefully we get another one. That's awesome. Well done, mate. Beautiful fish.
In rivers and estuaries, jewfish are usually found in deeper holes and around structure where they can hide from current. And if you can find a nice deep hole with structure in it, even better. Now, another great spot to target them is out on the offshore reefs, and this is where you're likely to find the really good sized fish. Now, where I'm from in southeast Queensland, they like to move onto the closer reefs up to 40 meters in depth in the winter months. Now, once again, out here, you're looking for places that jewfish can use as cover. So they love to hang around big bommies and pinnacles, edges of the reef where it drops off onto sand or gravel, even just nice lumps of reef where it rises up over a bit of a large area. A good idea is actually to go watch some spearfishing videos on YouTube and check out when they're chasing dewies where the fish actually like to sit and their behavior. You'll notice a lot of the time they're right on the edge of the structure where a reef drops off onto sand or where a bommy rises up. They're sitting right tight into that structure. In fact, another structure that's well known for holding jewfish is wrecks. Now, of course, another big thing to look for is bait on your sounder. So a lot of the time when guys are jigging live bait on the close-in reefs, they'll hook one on and just send it straight back down into the school, and there can be jewfish sitting underneath it, and a lot of guys catch fish that way actually. Now, another thing that you may be wondering is what jewfish actually look like on your sounder and what to look for. So sadly, I don't actually have any photos of this, but I'll draw you up some examples and show you that now. All right, so I've just drawn up here a sounder screen, an example. So this is what jewfish can look like on the sounder. So usually they're going to be next to some structure, which is the green, that's the bottom. And this is a couple of different ways that I've seen jewfish show up before. So on our sounder, they tend to show up like more big, thick blobs. And that's because they have a large air bladder. But I've also seen on friend sounders, they show up like this, stacked on top of each other, you know, really tight arches on top of each other. Now, obviously, as you can see, the current is going this way. So they're usually going to be hiding in behind the structure out of that current. So that's why they're sitting down in there. But yeah, that's a couple of different ways jewfish can show up on the sounder. This next one is another way that you can sort of find them. So as I said, when people are jigging bait, which is this these clouds here, this yellow and orange, that's a good place to target jewfish as well. They're going to be hanging around all those schools of liveys. So if you see this on your sounder, big schools of bait hanging around, you know, heavy structure or large bommies, feel free to drop a livey straight back down. The other thing is there doesn't have to be jewfish showing on your sounder, and they could still be there. So it's always worth a drop. You never know what you'll get. Usually when you find where some jewfish are hanging out on a patch of reef, that area will hold them year after year. So the hardest part is finding them for starters. All right, so let's talk about the technique now, how to go out and actually fish for them. There's a couple of different ways depending on the gear you have and where you're fishing. For example, if you have an electric motor, that can be a really handy tool when you're out on the reef, because you can just spot lock with your electric motor, you can just bomb your liveys straight down on their head. Now, due to not having an electric motor and also just the types of places that I fish, I mainly drift. So what you can do here is you can identify a spot where you think the jewfish are holding, or even see them on your sounder. And what you're going to do is you're going to mark that, especially if you're out on the reef. So what you do is you're going to line your drift up. It may take you a couple of goes to get it right, but even if you just have to do nice short little drifts over that area where you've identified the jew are holding, you can do it that way too. Get your bait straight down there and keep it down there right in their face.
Oh, we're on.
Matt. No, I want to hook it myself.
Oh, hang on. That was one. That was a Jew. A Jew. Touch reverse that way, Dad. He's still on it. Got one.
Go, Matt. Do you want me to read that rod, Will?
Hang on. Come on. He's a good one.
I'm sweating bullets here.
You're right.
Yeah.
Wait, Matt.
Head first.
Wait. There we go, guys. That's a nice one. It's a big fish. Might be a big Jewy, Ben. Or that, or a kingy.
Holy, a little king.
Big Jewy. It's a big Jew.
Now I'm calling for a Jew.
It's a big Jewy. It's a big Jewy.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yes.
Get him in.
Woo! Yeah, boys! Woohoo! Yeah, Kane. Yoo-hoo! Look at that.
Boy.
Yeah, Benny.
Look at that one, mate.
That gave it to you, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
What a cracker.
What a cracker, mate.
Oh, let's get our breasts back.
If the conditions are good with no current or wind, you can even stop right on top of the school and try and drop straight on their heads. Now, as I said, jewfish will patrol around the edge of structures, so like a wreck, or the edge of a reef, around the edge of a bommy. So what some people do is, once they've identified a spot that holds jewfish, they'll go there and they'll actually anchor and drop their baits right on that edge and wait for the jewfish to come to them. And this also works really well for a lot of guys. Now, a big thing with jewfish is when to chase them. More than other fish, I think they have very specific bite times, and I can definitely see why they're called silver ghosts. Because when they're not on the chew, they can be absolutely dead. But then when they decide to bite, sometimes it almost feels too easy to catch them. And that's not me being cocky, don't worry. I've had plenty of donut sessions. But it's just a fact. When they start to bite, they really come on hard. Now, I'm not an expert, but I've learned a couple of things so far. I'm not going to share it with you that easy though. Part of the fun is going out and figuring that out for yourself. But what I suggest is go fishing whenever you can. And what you're going to do is, if you have any success or if you see anyone else catch jewfish, you're going to write down everything about it. So start a journal, write down the tides, moon, time of day, everything that you can. And soon you will start to piece the puzzles together. And it is so satisfying. And you'll be sitting there going, how did I not realize that before? And yeah, as I said, soon you'll start to see some patterns emerging. Now, I'll quickly talk about a couple more things, and one of those is fighting the fish. Now, with jewfish, when you get a bite, a lot of people say to give them time to swallow it before you set that hook. But with this technique, you don't have to do that. If anything, just drop your rod tip down to the water as they grab it for 1 or 2 seconds just to make sure that they've got it, and then set that hook and get into them.
Oh, yeah, he's getting eaten. Yep.
Right.
Yep. It's a good one. Hang on. Oh, it is. It's decent. Hang on. Yep. Scoot. Woo! Oh, there we go, guys. Just got that one. Got the hooks out of him.
I've noticed that jewfish bites feel very different and unique to other fish. Sometimes they'll come along and just absolutely smash it and take off, but other times you'll just feel them grab it and have it in their mouth and start to swallow it slowly, or your rod tip will just slowly start to load up, almost like you've got a snag, and then it'll start to kick when it feels pressure.
Get him. Get the hit.
Yep.
He's on. He's on, Will.
Woo! Come on. Woo!
Oh, boy.
That's a nice Jimmy, man.
Oh. Woo!
Yeah.
On.
On hard.
Is my GoPro on?
Yeah, I think so. I got this on
Oh,
anyway.
he's gone under.
He's gone under the boat.
It's another good one.
Oh,
Far
dude.
Oh, solid one.
That's so on.
Come on. Hang on, I'll turn in this way.
Yeah, turn him too, you can.
Thanks heaps, boys.
Oh, well. That's so epic. Oh. That's crazy, mate. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. How good's that?
Now, as soon as you start to get into them, they're going to go pretty hard for structure most of the time. So you've got to try and turn their head. And also, Jewfish, for some reason, are prone to being sharked. So, yeah, try and get into them and get them up if there's sharks in the area.
On. Yep. Yep. That's one.
Yeah, where's my bag?
I'm on two. Oh, lost it. Watch the line on the boat. Yeah.
Oh, he's going.
Yeah, he's going.
He's going. Oh, he's off. No, he's not.
Keep it coming.
I think he's off. No. Shark.
Oh!
Look at that, everybody.
He's just there.
Oh.
Just unlucky. Anyway, that's how she goes.
Taxman got him.
Now, Jewfish do suffer from barotrauma. So in deeper water, once you get them up, they can sort of start to get a bit lazy halfway up, but they still do fight to the surface sometimes and have a bit of life left in them. So talking about barotrauma, that leads me into the last topic, which is looking after the fish. So in Queensland, the size limit is 75 centimetres and you're allowed 2 per person. And in New South Wales, it's 70 centimetres, I believe, and 1 per person. So since these fish suffer from barotrauma, once you've got your bag limit or you've got enough for a feed, it's best to leave them alone because they don't really release very well, especially in deeper water.
There we go. I do this all the time.
Yep,
There he goes.
If you're keeping them for a feed, bleed them straight away by cutting in behind their gills on both sides, and you can brain spark them if you'd like, and then put them straight in an ice slurry.
Look at those beautiful white chunks of meat. That red on that one is just the bloodline, which is in all fish, and that's why we bleed our fish. I can already taste it.
In terms of eating, they're nice fresh, but I've found lately that they're really, really good in curries. I don't usually like doing fish with, you know, heaps of other ingredients, but this is perfect. It just infuses into the flesh a little bit and you still get that nice taste of the Jewfish. But yeah, it makes it really nice. All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I really hope it's been helpful. Just wanted to give you guys the basics to go out and chase some Jewfish since they're in season. And yeah, they're such a fun fish to catch. I've been getting a lot of questions about them. If you want to go watch some of my other videos, go to my channel and there's plenty of Jewfish videos there for you to check out with some pretty hot action. Don't forget to share this with your friends if you think they'd enjoy. Subscribe for more. Leave a comment and like the video if you enjoyed it. All right, until next time, guys, tight lines. Hopefully you can start chasing some Jewies for yourself or get better at it. And yeah, enjoy your time on the water. Cheers.